Yeah, just give us, I mean, it seems like obviously the defense played really well the first 2 weeks. Like, how happy are you just, obviously the level of competition, but with how they performed so far?
We're pleased, but we know it's a process, and it's the same thing after week 1. And it's no disrespect to Arkansas State because I think they do have a really good offense. But they had a lot of new faces, a new quarterback, so they're going to take some time to gel and click. And I think they'll be, by the end of the season, they'll be a really good offense. I think we caught them at the right time. So, we're pleased with the results in the first 2 games, but we know the process certainly has room for improvement. So we're just looking to get a little bit better each week, and we know we've got a huge challenge this week.
To get the takeaways in week 2, 4 takeaways, pick 6, obviously, like you're out there looking at that. That's obviously, I know, it's something that's really important to you and coaching staff. How happy are you with the way that they were able to kind of build on week 1 with the not letting get that many yards to getting the takeaways in week 2?
Sure, yeah. I mean, takeaways are such a huge part of the game. I think it's the number 2 most telling statistic to winning a game is winning the takeaway battle. So, when you can get 4, you feel great. Obviously, if you're able to get 1 in the end zone, that's even better. So we celebrate all victories. We know it's a team effort. The interceptions come from pressure from the D-line and disguise from everybody, and fumbles can come from anyone. And so we're certainly pleased, and we hope there's more to come.
What's the number 1? What's number 1?
Oh, points per drive.
Points per drive.
Yeah. Well, points overall, absolutely. Yeah, but then statistically, it would be points per drive is the most telling statistic.
For a defensive coach in your mind.
No, that's what CAI told us. That's not my stat. That's what the company we use for our statistics. They said relative correlated to winning football games, the number 1 statistic is points per drive, which is why I think you see so many teams going for it on 4th down now. That everybody's what used to be a field goal, and now everybody the methodology there is to get 7.
This year with the clock,
yeah, still points per drive. I would imagine maybe even more. More importantly then, but games don't seem any shorter to me. I can tell you that.
You seem maybe correct me wrong. Defense seems faster. I know that's like a very simplistic observation, but I'm curious if you agree with that. If you see that out on the field, because it seems like to me you have, especially in the linebacking core and the secondary, you seem faster this year.
I hope so. I think. Some of that hopefully comes in carryover from the year before and understanding how things work, and we're in our 2nd year as a staff, and I'm just trying to get out of the way of our position coaches and let them coach because they're much better coaches than I am. So they do a terrific job getting their guys ready to play and play fast, and our guys play for each other. So. They know that there's a standard in our room, and everybody's looking to uphold that standard of how hard and fast we want to play.
Who was recruiting Campbellsville or whatever the NAI from field came from?
So Diego came with another player that we recruited. So I'll let that remain a mystery for another week. But but boy, we're glad he's here. And
so it was a package deal with someone else.
Something like that. Yeah. Pretty good package there, huh?
How do you assess the way that he played? Like, he was standing out on Saturday because they kept throwing at him.
Yeah. If you had access to our practice film, you wouldn't be surprised at all. He's been that way since the day he got here. He's been, we watched this film at Campbellsville, and we're like, man, this kid's really good. But I think I said this in recruiting the last time I spoke to you guys, it's like there's always a degree of, what's the level of competition? And we didn't know, but there's been no drop-off in his performance relative to higher level of competition. So, but he's been like that since the day he got here.
Is that more so like when it comes from NAIA, you're just sitting there watching the tape, like he looks really good, but that level of competition is obviously totally different than FCS, FBS?
Yeah, that's the concern. Is just can he do the same thing at a higher level of competition? But if you just look at the NFL draft, I mean, there's not a correlation 1-to-1 of 5 stars become the top first-round draft picks. There's not a correlation of. I know there is a higher percentage of players from the major conferences that get drafted higher, but it's not 1-to-1. It's not every player from a higher league, from a better league, goes higher in the draft. I mean, that's to say that every recruiting service and every recruiter is going to get it exactly right on a player coming out of high school is inaccurate. I mean, that's ridiculous. So. You just got to keep pouring into to the different levels of football, and particularly as the transfer portal has become available, and you just got to be really diligent and open-minded.
You had a pretty good plan for Navy last year, but Ryan said they're a little different this year. How do you prepare for this Navy offense?
Yeah,
Different?
they have some differences, but the core I think is the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, particularly they definitely had some wrinkles against Notre Dame, but they were a little bit more traditional against Wagner. So, you know, we went back to his previous school. And we know, we're very familiar with all the formations, all the motions, all the shifts. We've practiced a lot of that, but it's just tough for us on a short week to change how much you do. You know, we're a little bit more 4 down front last year. We just in general, not specific to Navy, we were a little more 3 down front. At this point, we're a little more 4 down front, just in who we are defensively. But like you said, we played them well last year, so you know we on a short week, it's tough to change too much. So.